Welcome to the Off the Pitch podcast.
Let's get started.
Hello, and welcome back to the Off the Pitch. I'm Hannah Morales, your host, and as always, I'm joined by the one and only football sage, Gaffers Gesselsees. Gaffer, it's been a wild summer in the football world, hasn't it? The transfer window is throwing up some seismic shifts, and we've got plenty to unpack today.
Absolutely, Hannah. This summer's transfer market is like a high-stakes chess game. Big moves, unexpected gambits, and a few checkmates in the making. From Son Heung-min's emotional farewell to Tottenham to Joao Palhinha's loan switch, we're seeing clubs recalibrating for the 2025-26 season with some bold strategies. Let's dive in. Let's start with the bombshell out of North London. Tottenham captain Son Heung-min, after a decade of service, 454 appearances, and 173 goals, announced he's leaving Spurs this summer. Gaffer, this is huge, not just for Spurs, but for the Premier League. What's your take on Son's decision to seek a fresh challenge?
Hannah, this is one of those moments that sends ripples through the footballing world. Son's been the heartbeat of Tottenham for years. His work rate, his versatility, his leadership as captain, and that lethal left foot. His decision to leave, as he said in Seoul, is about needing a new environment to push himself after 10 years. At 33, he's still got plenty in the tank, and his move to Los Angeles FC in the MLS, which seems likely, suggests he's prioritizing regular minutes and a new cultural experience over staying in Europe's pressure cooker. Strategically, this is a massive loss for Spurs. Son wasn't just a goal scorer, he was the emotional glue in that squad. His role in their Europa League triumph last season, ending a 17-year trophy drought, was monumental. Losing him before the UEFA Super Cup against PSG could disrupt their momentum, even if Thomas Frank insists he'll start and captain the side in Sunday's friendly against Newcastle.
Absolutely, and you can feel the weight of his departure in his words. I came to North London as a kid, 23 years old. I leave as a grown man, a very proud man. It's poignant, isn't it? But let's talk about Tottenham's squad dynamics. How do they replace someone like Son, who's been so integral both on and off the pitch?
Replacing Son is like trying to replace the sun in the solar system. It's not just about goals, it's about presence. Tactically, Son's ability to play as a winger, false nine, or even drop deeper gave Spurs flexibility. Thomas Frank now has to rethink his front line. Dejan Kulusevski, who's returning from injury, can fill the right wing role, but he's not the same explosive finisher. James Maddison and Lucas Bergvall offer creativity in midfield, but neither has Son's knack for decisive moments in the final third. The bigger issue is leadership. Son was a captain who led by example. His work rate set the tone for Ange Postecoglou's high-pressing system, and Frank seems to want to continue that intensity. Without Son, Spurs might lean on someone like Christian Romero or Maddison to step up, but that's a big ask in a squad that's still relatively young. Financially, Spurs save on Son's wages, likely around £190,000 a week, but they're not getting a transfer fee for a player of his caliber, which is a blow to Daniel Levy's youth-focused model.
And what about the fans? Spurs supporters adored Son. His departure could shift the mood at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Oh, the fans are gutted, Hannah. You only need to glance at X to see the outpouring of love and heartbreak. Posts are calling him a legend and irreplaceable, with some fans pleading for a statue outside the stadium. Son's connection with the supporters was special. He wasn't just a star, he was relatable, always smiling, always giving 100%. But there's also a sense of acceptance. Fans respect his need for a change after a decade of service, especially since he delivered that Europa League trophy. The friendly in Seoul could be a beautiful send-off, as Frank said, but it'll be emotional.
Definitely. And with the MLS beckoning, do you think this move signals a broader trend of Premier League stars heading to America earlier in their careers?
It's a fair question. The MLS is no longer just a retirement league. Look at Lionel Messi's impact at Inter Miami or Thiago Almada's rise at Atlanta United. Son's move at 33, still in his prime, suggests players are seeing the MLS as a viable option for competitive football, global exposure, and a different lifestyle. It's a statement of intent from LAFC too, who are building a squad to dominate the Western Conference. For Son, it's a chance to be a marquee player in a growing market, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see more players in their early 30s following suit.
Let's stick with Spurs for a moment because they're making moves to offset Son's departure. They've agreed to a season-long loan from Bayern Munich's João Palhinha, a natural defensive midfielder. Gaffer, why is this signing so significant for Thomas Frank's project?
This is a masterstroke, Hannah, and here's why. Spurs have been crying out for a proper number 6. Yves Bissouma, bless him, has been shoehorned into that role, but it's not his natural game. He's more box-to-box, and his inconsistency has frustrated fans. Palhinha, at 30, brings exactly what Spurs need: defensive nous, physicality, and experience. His time at Fulham showed he can dominate Premier League midfields, and his stint at Bayern, while not always as a starter, gave him big club pedigree. Tactically, Palhinha's arrival allows Frank to unshackle Rodri, Bentancur, and Maddison. With Palhinha sitting deep, Bentancur can push forward, linking play, while Maddison and Bergvall can focus on creating chances. It's a domino effect. Palhinha's discipline off the ball frees up Spurs' attacking talents. He's also a beast at set-piece defending, which is critical for a team that struggled with corners and free kicks. At 6'2", he's a physical presence alongside Mickey Van de Ven and Romero.
And it's a loan, which is interesting. Daniel Levy's known for his youth-focused approach, so signing a 30-year-old, even temporarily, feels like a departure. What's the thinking here?
It's a pragmatic move, and it shows Levy's willingness to back Frank. Spurs' squad lacks experience. Ange Postecoglou flagged this last season, and Frank's clearly echoed it. Palhinha's loan is low risk, high reward. No permanent fee, just wages, and he slots straight into the starting 11. It's a signal to the squad and fans that Spurs mean business after losing Son. Financially, it's savvy. Bayern likely cover part of his wages, and Spurs keep their powder dry for younger targets next summer, like a potential Harry Kane return, given their first option clause.
Ooh, a Kane comeback. That's a spicy rumor, but let's focus on Palhinha. How does this affect Spurs' standing in the Premier League race?
It's a boost, no question. Spurs finished 5th last season, but they were inconsistent defensively. Palhinha's signing shores up the midfield, which could help them challenge for a top 4 spot. Liverpool, the defending champions, are still favorites, with Arsenal and Manchester City hot on their heels. But Spurs now have a more balanced squad. Palhinha's grit complements their flair. If Frank can integrate him quickly, especially for that friendly against Bayern, Spurs could surprise a few teams early in the season.
The fans seem excited about this one. I saw some X-posts calling Palhinha the missing piece for Spurs midfield. Are they right?
They're not far off. Fans on X are buzzing because they've seen what Palhinha did at Fulham, breaking up play, winning duels, and protecting the backline. One post I saw said, "Palhinha's the DM we've needed since Moussa Dembele left." That's high praise, but it's not hyperbole. The only question is whether he adapts to Frank's high-pressing system, which demands mobility. At 30, he's not slow, but he's not N'Golo Kante either. But if he gels, though, Spurs fans could be in for a treat. Let's shift gears to Chelsea, who are making waves in the transfer market. They're targeting Manchester United's out-of-favor winger Alejandro Garnacho and Red Bull Leipzig's Xavi Simons. Gaffer, what's driving Chelsea's interest in these two attacking talents? Chelsea are playing a dangerous but exciting game, Hannah. Garnacho's situation at United is fascinating. He's been frozen out by Ruben Amorim, who's reshaping the squad with a 3-4-2-1 system that doesn't suit wingers like Garnacho, Rashford, or Jadon Sancho. Chelsea's done their homework. They've run background checks on Garnacho's character, and they're comfortable moving forward. He's 21, Argentinian, explosive, and prefers a Champions League club, which makes Chelsea his top choice over Aston Villa. Xavi Simons, on the other hand, is a more versatile attacking midfielder. At 22, he's already shown his quality at PSV and Leipzig with a knack for dribbling and creating in tight spaces. Chelsea's interest in both players signals Maresca's intent to overload the squad with attacking options, but it's not without risks. They need to offload players like Nkunku or Broja to create space. Defensively, they're solidifying with Yoel Hato's £37 million move from Ajax, But the attack is where Maresca is making his mark. Financially, these deals are tricky. United's valuation of Garnacho will be high, likely 50 million plus, despite his lack of minutes under Amorim. Simons could cost similar, with Leipzig open to deals involving Chelsea's French players like Broja or Carney Chukwuemeka. It's a high-stakes gamble, but if Chelsea pulls it off, they could have one of the most dynamic attacks in the Premier League.
And the fans? Chelsea supporters are known for their high expectations. What's the mood on X?
It's a mix of excitement and caution. X-posts show fans salivating over Garnacho's potential to light up Stamford Bridge, with some calling him the next Angel Di Maria. Simons has his admirers too, with fans praising his versatility. But there's skepticism about squad management. Posts like, "How do we fit all these attackers?" and "Maresca better have a plan" are common. Chelsea's recent history of transfer splurges hasn't always translated to success, so fans are wary but hopeful.
And what about the broader Premier League context? Chelsea face Arsenal, City, and United early in the season. Can these signings make them contenders?
They're not title favorites. That's still Liverpool with their strengthened squad under Arne Slot. But Chelsea could gatecrash the top four if Maresca integrates these players quickly. Garnacho and Simons add depth and quality, but the real test is whether Chelsea's defense, bolstered by Hato, can handle the likes of Erling Haaland or Mohamed Salah. The early fixtures will be a baptism of fire, but these signings show Chelsea's ambition to compete at the highest level.
Speaking of United, let's talk about their summer. Bruno Fernandes turned down a £1 million a week offer from Al Hilal, and Ruben Amorim's overhaul is in full swing. Gaffer, what's happening at Old Trafford?
United are at a crossroads, Hannah. Fernandez's decision to stay is massive. He's their captain, their playmaker, and their heart. Turning down Al Hilal's eye-watering offer shows his commitment to Amorim's project, especially after a disastrous 15th place finish last season. Amorim's brought a new culture, no stragglers, as Luke Shaw put it. He's frozen out wingers like Rashford, Garnacho, and Jadon Sancho, who don't fit his 3-4-2-1 system, and signed players like Brian Mbeumo and Mateus Cunha to add athleticism and cohesion. Tactically, Amorim is demanding high pressing and collective responsibility. The 41 thrashing of Bournemouth in preseason showed glimpses of his vision, aggressive, front-footed football, but the midfield remains a concern. They like a top-tier number 6, and while Casemiro's still there, he's not the long-term answer at 33. Financially, United's spending $71 million on Mbeumo, $62.5 million on Cunha, shows Sir Jim Ratcliffe's backing, but they need to sell to balance the books. Rashford's loan to Barcelona and potential exits for Garnacho and Sancho could fund a move for someone like Benjamin Sesko. Amorim's really shaken things up, isn't he? Freezing out big names like Rashford and Garnacho. That's bold. How's that going down with the fans? It's divisive. X is a battleground. Some fans love Amorim's no-nonsense approach, with posts like, "Finally a manager with a spine." Others are fuming, especially about Rashford's exit, with comments like, "He's United through and through, this is a disgrace." The Bournemouth win has calmed some nerves, but fans know the real test comes against Arsenal, City, and Chelsea early in the season. Amorim's banking on unity, and players like Diogo Dalot and Patrick Dorgu are buying in, but results will dictate the narrative.
And Fernandes staying, how big is that for United's long-term plans?
It's huge. Fernandes is the linchpin. His work rate, vision, and leadership set the tone. His decision sends a message to the squad. United are serious about rebuilding. Long-term, Amorim's building a squad for the Champions League, not just mid-table scraps. But they need to address the midfield and striker roles. Rasmus Højlund is committed, but they're still chasing Sesko. If United can navigate their tough start, Fernandes could be the catalyst for a top 6 push.
Let's zoom out to the bigger picture. The Saudi Pro League is making noise again, with Al Nassr targeting Bruno Fernandes and Joao Felix joining Cristiano Ronaldo. Meanwhile, in La Liga, Barcelona are loaning out Marcus Rashford and wearing Kobe Bryant branded shirts. Gaffer, how do these moves compare to the Premier League's activity? The Saudi Pro League is flexing its financial muscle, Hannah. Al Nassr's interest in Fernandes, even after he rejected Al Hilal, shows they're not just chasing big names, they're targeting players who can elevate the league's profile. Joao Felix's £43.7 million move from Chelsea is a coup. He joins Ronaldo and could form a deadly attacking trio. The Saudi clubs are spending big but strategically, focusing on players in their prime rather than just aging stars. Financially, it's a no-brainer. €120 million offers for Fernandes aren't uncommon. But the challenge is convincing players to leave Europe's top competitions. In La Liga, Barcelona's loan of Rashford is a low-risk move. He's been out of favor at United, and Barca needs a spark after a mixed season. The Kobe Bryant shirts are a marketing ploy, tapping into global pop culture to boost their brand. Compared to the Premier League, where clubs like Spurs and Chelsea are balancing youth and experience, La Liga and the Saudi League are taking bigger swings. Barca with short-term fixes, Saudi with long-term ambition to rival Europe. And what about Serie A? Christian Pulisic's new signature cleats with AC Milan are turning heads. How does his role compare to the Premier League's star wingers?
Pulisic is thriving at Milan, and those Never Stop Ultra 6 Ultimate CP cleats are a testament to his growing stature. At 27, he's in his prime, bringing speed and creativity to Milan's flanks. Compared to Premier League wingers like Son or Garnacho, Pulisic is more direct, less reliant on finesse. Serie A's slower pace suits him, allowing him to dictate play, whereas the Premier League's intensity demands constant pressing. Milan's investment in Pulisic, on and off the field, shows they're building around him, unlike the Premier League's churn of wingers.
We're almost out of time, Gaffer, but let's wrap up with a look at the fans. Across X, we're seeing passion, heartbreak, and hope. What's the pulse of the football world right now?
It's electric, Hannah. Spurs fans are torn, grieving Son, but excited for Paulinho. Chelsea supporters are dreaming of a Garnacho-Simons double swoop, while United fans are cautiously optimistic about Amorim's revolution. In Saudi, Al Nassr's pursuit of Fernandes has fans buzzing about a Ronaldo, Felix, Fernandes trident. And Pulisic's cleats? They're a hit. X-posts are calling them fire and a must-have. The transfer window's got everyone on edge, and the 2025-26 season can't come soon enough.
Couldn't agree more. That's all for today's Off the Pitch. Gaffer, thanks for breaking it all down with your trademark insight. To our listeners, keep the conversation going on X, and we'll be back next week to dissect more football madness. Until then, stay passionate and keep it off the pitch.
Cheers, Hannah. Let's see how these moves play out. Football never sleeps.
Thanks for listening and subscribe for my channel.